There's a guy called Mohammed Hijab, and he's a anti-Israel activist in the UK. He's always on Piers Morgan's show, and he was caught on a hidden camera a few days ago.
I think we need to face the fact it's not just Zionism, it's Judaism as well.
Yeah.
And when I say Judaism, I'm not talking about, I'm talking about Jewish theology. They believe, many of them actually believe that they are superior to you on the basis of biology.
Of existing.
Yeah, because they are a different blood to you.
Right.
That they are better than you.
They're the children of Adam.
Yeah, the children of Isaac or the children of Israel.
He's a devout Muslim, supposedly, and he said, "I'll be honest, my problem is not just with Zionism; it's with Judaism. And what the problem is, the Jews, they think they're better than everyone else. They think they're chosen, that they're somehow special." And that's the problem. That's the real problem. So, and I was actually quite grateful to hear that, because at least they're telling us what's really going on, what this is really about.
And why do they care? Why do they care? We have to be killed, slaughtered, massacred because we're arrogant? Right? Is that the punishment for arrogance?
Oh, because we want to the Zionists want to dominate the world. Meanwhile, they've got 22 Arab and Muslim states.
And we're content with a little slice of nothing. So really, what is behind the whole thing? It's not that we're arrogant. It's that we have what to be arrogant about, and they don't. They have nothing to be proud of. What has Islam done for the world? Before Islam, Arabs donated and contributed a lot to the world. Not that I appreciate it, but, they created math. They were the leaders in medicine, in science, in poetry, until Islam came along and dumbed them down. So it's not that we're arrogant about being chosen. It's that we were chosen. That is intolerable. Not our arrogance. Because what do you care what a tiny group of people think of themselves? What a lousy excuse. Oh, we have to kill them because they think they're great. And so laugh at them and ignore them. What's your problem? And that goes back to the whole thing of who are the inheritors of Avraham. That is the big religious issue. Because they believe in God, they believe in the Bible, they believe that they are the heirs. But of course, the Jews are the heirs. So if you're fighting over an inheritance, there's only one way to win. Kill all your siblings.
Yeah.
That is the final truth behind all of this.
Yeah. But then, how does the logic work that by then stating unequivocally that is who we really are, if that's really what is the source of their hatred, aren't we perpetuating the problem even more?
We can't perpetuate it. It's in the Bible. It's out of the it's out. It's not like if we say we're chosen, then it creates a problem.
Yeah.
We've been saying we're not chosen for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Nobody's buying it.
Yeah. But I'm just trying to understand how saying we are is now going to solve the problem.
We think we are. Oh, that we say we are?
Yeah.
Oh, because they're trying to win the battle by eliminating us as competition. Well,
Mm.
backing off is not going to help us at all.
Mm.
We have to convince the world that this is a question of who inherits, and we are the heirs, not they, because they are not biological descendants.
So this is interesting because I was just listening to a Muslim scholar who was talking about this issue of chosen people. And he said the Jews were God's chosen people to be his voice to the world. But then because they sinned and didn't keep their side of the covenant, God ended his covenant with the Jews. He scattered them and put them in exile. And now his new covenant is with Islam and with Muslims. And it's now, instead of based on DNA and biology, it's based on merit and morality. And that is far more meritorious and healthy. And I wondered what your thought. He took real objection to this idea of chosenness being biological, and he also thought he had evidence of Jewish suffering was evidence of us not being chosen anymore. I wondered if you could respond to both points.
The question is not whether we're chosen. The question is, are we the inheritors? We're talking about an inheritance, not a merit system. So it could be, it's a ridiculous argument, but just for the sake of argument, it could be they are now the chosen people. They still don't inherit. You can't inherit if you're not biological descendants.
But he was saying also the chosen, we do say
Fine.
that chosen people is biological as well.
Yes, but they're two separate things.
He wasn't talking about the land of Israel. He was talking about just this idea of chosenness.
Yeah. So that argument, which everybody makes, I think there are Christian groups who also believe that they are the new Jews because the covenant was taken from us and given to them. And my answer to that is, in that case, you can keep it because it's not worth the paper it's written on. What is a covenant that you can cancel?
Well, could it be dependent on both sides living up to the terms?
No? Then it's not a covenant. A covenant means for better or for worse, through thickness, through health and through illness. That's a covenant.
Right.
A covenant that is dependent is not a covenant.
Right. And God calls it eternal anyway.
Yes, many, many times over, where God says, you're going to sin, I'm going to be angry at you, I'm going to punish you, but we will stay together forever. So it's a foolish argument, by the way. You're just not listening to the words you're saying. Say he canceled the covenant. That's an oxymoron. And if that can happen, then it's going to happen to you next. What, have the Muslims been a paragon of virtue?
But to this idea of, go for it.
We're too easily intimidated by arguments that are senseless, pointless.
But what is bad is objection to it's a biological, inheritance of being chosen, and that is somehow objectionable.
We're chosen. What are we supposed to do about it? Change God's mind?
Well,
he's very stubborn.
Let's say they just have. Let's say they believe this is the truth, but they just have an objection with it. That why would it be that God would choose as his voice to the world a people and it's going to be inherited biologically? They're trying to understand the justice in that.
Have you read the Bible? The whole book of Genesis, the whole punchline of it is God chose the descendants of Abraham to be his voice to the world. We didn't do that. We were chosen. We are not the choosers.
But can you see why someone would find that object? I'm saying maybe we're not denying whether it's true or not, but could you see how someone could look at that and say that seems objectionable?
That's what they've been saying for 3,000 years.
Right.
And we're still here.
So what's our response to that?
Our response is you're wrong and you're vicious. And even if you're jealous, it doesn't give you the right to shoot me. You know, Joseph got a special coat of many colors. And his brothers wanted to kill him for that. So who needs to apologize, Joseph or the brothers?
Well, I heard someone say recently that the rabbis, maybe this is wrong, maybe you'll correct me, but the rabbis say one of the lessons here is don't have favorites.
That's true.
So
but does that justify killing the favorite?
Of course not, but it can still potentially justify a critique of the system.
Yes, potentially every rich person will be the object of jealousy and, complaints of unfair. How come you have all the money? Well, then in that case, we should kill all the rich people. Where is the logic here? If you're jealous of someone, you're going to kill him? There's your morality. So yes, it would be nicer if we didn't favor one over the other. Without favoring one over the other, we wouldn't have civilization. Like, who gets to be the king? Whoever he is should be killed because he's being given favorite status. So he's got to go. We would never have a leader. We would never have a teacher. We would never have a role model. Anyone who's smarter than me, richer than me, or stronger than me has got to go because it's making me jealous. So we're not asking people to love us. We don't need love. But getting shot is not pleasant. And I hate when that happens.
But how do we make sense of, the rabbis are saying there's a lesson here, don't have favorites, but God does have, at least in terms of his particular mission here, is God not learning the lesson of this story which he taught to us?
He's teaching a lesson. There are special people. They should be the teachers. Should he not say that? Afraid of the truth?
Of course, it has to be said. I also find it funny that we don't seem to complain about the fact that we have chosen people within the chosen people for specific roles. The Kohanim, the Leviim. There's no anti-Kohanites, as far as I know.
We have the story in the Torah with Korach challenging Moshe, saying, what makes you special? We're all equally holy. What makes you special? And God caused the earth to swallow him up so that argument will never be repeated again.
You're saying because it's so destructive?
Yeah. Look, I mean, the Christian world that has been anti-Semitic from its beginning uh, are objecting to our status as chosen people. But then they take one Jew and consider him not only chosen, they consider him God.
Right, right.
We never went that far.
Hi everybody, thanks for watching. If you want to watch another one, click here. If you want to subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest JTV content, click here. And if you're feeling really keen, you can click the join button down below underneath this video, where you can get perks including early access to new videos and private live discussions with me, where we can talk about JTV content and strategy moving forward, and I'll get to hear from you. Thanks again for watching.